Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, aka the guy that always numbs his hand before smashing it because it's the best way to release yourself. Shout out to all the men out there that got that joke. Now, the latest entry, The Universe is Indifferent, has a lot to talk about, and throughout this video we're going to be going over our thoughts, theories, and the things that you might have missed. There will be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to check out episode 7 yet, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Please drop a thumbs up if you're enjoying our breakdowns, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with our thoughts on the show. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of Snowpiercer episode 7. Okay, so as always with Snowpiercer, we get a sort of cold opening, pun intended, that shows things from the perspective of a certain passenger. This time it's LJ who divulges her personal thoughts on the human condition. She states that every person in the world believes that they are the center of the universe, but that the universe is actually completely indifferent to us, which ties into the title. This is also referenced at the end of the episode with the song Bad Religion, which I'll talk about in just a bit, but yeah, it's very clear that everything's sort of one-sided with people believing that they're important, whilst other people don't really care at all. Now, apart from that subtext, clip-wise, there's not much else to take from it, other than that her parents are now looked down upon by those in First because she was never brought to justice. We also see that Zara has a scan of her baby, whilst Layton bunks up with Josie. He's really got two birds with one bone, and I'll discuss how this might ruin his revolution later in the video. Layton is clearly a big danger, and we cut to the front carriage where Melanie and the other engineers discuss how bad it could be if the secret comes out. As predicted, Mel uses Miles as a weapon and announces over the intercom that he's been selected to replace the member of staff that was killed last week. Layton of course hears this, and though it seems like Melanie has now got him as an ace up her sleeve, I actually think it'll backfire as she's given someone from the tail full access to the train. Now what's interesting about this is that Ruth sneaks into the hospitality room and sees her announcing this, apparently speaking the words of Wilford. However, she doesn't have any notes or even connection to him at all, and you can sort of tell by the expression on her face that she's questioning what's going on. Over the last couple of weeks, she's slowly started to second guess Melanie, or rather Wilford, more and more, and the penny is clearly starting to drop. Commander Gray begins sort of charming her later in the episode, and the two arrange a date with each other. They are clearly going to form an alliance along with the Divulges, because at this point they all want Melanie out. We have said that Gray did clearly start to suspect something was up with Mel, and it's nice that we can sort of gather he's been working behind the scenes, plotting and scheming away, whilst we haven't really seen it in the episodes. In the prisoner car, Melanie inspects the drawers and learns that several bags of suspension drugs were stolen. This was likely John, who we know is a dealer, and was in the car by himself due to Bess knocking him out there. Aware of where the main source of the narcotic comes from, she calls up the janitor and questions him. Now, I didn't even know this, but this is the same guy that played Dr. Yinsen in Iron Man. I've legit seen that movie about 50 times and didn't even realise it was the same person, and I'm meant to be doing thorough breakdowns. Yikes. Now, it's clear that the way Melanie operates is that she likes to hold things over people's head, and she lets them get away with it for so long because she'll always have something in her back pocket. The janitor clearly thought he was low-key, but Melanie just needed him in the black market as her eyes and ears, so if she ever needed information, she could threaten him in order to get what she wants. We also see that he doesn't have any calluses on his hands, and I think this confirms our theory that he wasn't actually a janitor on the outside and was likely a gangster. They don't say that for definite, but yeah, clearly this guy wasn't working with a mop and bucket, and he infiltrated the black market pretty easily, running it in a way that has kept him in power. He makes a deal with Melanie to hand over Layton, and Layton is smuggled to the night car to meet Audrey. I think the series is kind of showing its budget at this point, as they only really ever have 7 cars and they jump back and forth between them. I think they should have held off perhaps showing all of the cars early on, as we haven't really had any surprises since the first couple of episodes, and in my opinion it's kind of robbed us of seeing just how weird and wonderful the train can truly get. In the classroom car, Miles is given an orange as Bennett goes to collect him for his new duty. Clearly, they don't get much fruit on Snowpiercer, so this is a great joy to the lad. Now, symbolically, orange is a colour that represents the energy of red and the happiness of yellow. As a fruit, it also represents the sun, something that the tail never had access to, So this passing of fruit metaphorically shows that Miles will be moving away from it into an area that will provide it in plentiful amounts. The class also read the book A Giraffe Called Uranium, and this is a story about a giraffe that travels from the east coast of Africa to Canada. It stops off at many places along the way, and I think this book was selected because it represents Snowpiercer's journey around the planet. Miles ends up being sick, and in the night car, Layton begins his insurrection. Audrey initially doesn't want to help, but after she realizes how a strike was pretty much sidelined by the crisis, she gathers the troops. Miles is taken to the clinic where Josie poses as a nurse, and this allows her to talk to him. It turns out that the orange was drugged, and this was in order to give him a message. She tells Miles to prepare for the revolution, and I love how in the background you can see the teacher flirting with Bennett. I don't know if you catched it, but as Bennett goes after Josie, you can hear her saying, "Tell me about your engine, tell me about your engine." It's quite a funny moment, and I love when they kind of throw weird little sound effects and ad-libs into the background of scenes as, yeah, nice little bit of comedy there. Now, it might not be the best chat-up line, but I'll tell you who does have them. Commander Gray, who wines and dines Ruth in the aquarium car, the restaurant car. Anyway, we learn that everyone on board Snowpiercer boarded 2 by 2 except for Ruth. This is clearly a Noah's Ark metaphor, and the train itself is often referred to as the Great Ark, showing that it was built to save humanity. Now this has never been said, but it does make me wonder if Wilford is seen as such a deity and prophet because he's made himself look like a modern day Noah. We also learn that Ruth had a B&B in Kendal before the world collapsed. Kendal is an area in the Lake District in England, and I've actually stayed in a B&B there before, so this was a cool little touch by the creative team that I definitely enjoyed. Now, B&B is a bed and breakfast, in case you don't know, and it shows how she got a job in the hospitality section. One day, Wilford came into her bed and breakfast, and because Ruth looked after him, he gave her a job on the spot. We also learn that Commander Gray's wife died 2 years ago, and though he is interested in Ruth, he also wants to discuss overthrowing Melanie. Elsewhere, Melanie waits in Zara's room, and she comes to her with a deal. She knows that she's pregnant and threatens her unborn baby in exchange for Layton's life. Zara betrays Josie, and Melanie takes her captive, which we'll talk about in just a bit, but yeah, it's a big scene. Layton meets with the key characters in third, and they talk about how they want to create an equal system on the train, rather than a select few living in luxury whilst others starve. He mentions a way to open all the doors on the train, which is clearly Miles, so this shows that things are heading that way. He reveals to them that Melanie is in fact masquerading as Wilford, and in the tale, Melanie interrogates Josie, who does something I really wasn't expecting. She full on doesn't give an F, divulging that she knows the truth about Melanie, so she knows she won't be let go. I really felt bad for Josie, who goes out like a champ here. Now, one thing that Melanie says is that she also wants Snowpiercer to be a certain way, however, it simply hasn't been built to function like that. There's no possible way it can continue if things are equal, and I think that this is something that's often brought up when discussing the modern world. Like the train, we are often said to be too far into things to turn back, and thus Melanie has been forced to keep things the way that they are in order to allow everyone to survive. Melanie begins to torture her to get the truth on where Layton is, and Layton goes to the janitor to discuss an alliance as he owns all the black market. He refuses to hand Layton over, but also turns against their unity, preferring to keep things the way that they are, where he's in a position of power rather than sharing it. Melanie, unable to handle what she's doing to Josie, goes to be sick, and then Bess goes into the hospitality car where Josie passes on a message that Zara betrayed them, but Miles is still a part of the team. Ruth goes to warn Melanie about the divulges, but in her anger she shuts her down, and thus it's likely that she's going to be overthrown by the group, who are forming a coup. To make matters worse, Josie almost kills her, and it's revealed that Bess gave her the freeze gun, which she used to destroy her hand so she could get out of the handcuffs. Josie almost kills her, and after how bad Melanie has been this episode, I really wanted her to. The pipe for the gun is pulled off the wall, and this begins to freeze the cabin. Melanie manages to escape, but Josie is killed during it, and Gray gets angered by Melanie carrying out an interrogation without him, and she brings Miles up to the front, who we of course know is planning to open all of the doors for the tale. The episode ends with Layton screaming over the death of Josie, whilst the song Bad Religion by Frank Ocean is sung by Audrey. The song is about a man that has unrequited love for someone, and this ties into the title, The Universe is Indifferent. He obsesses over them, but they don't love him back, and thus this is seen as a bad religion. Clearly, this is a comment on those that worship Wilford and the train, but it obviously doesn't care for them, as there's so much injustice and inequality. I think this song being sung is sort of a way to say goodbye to Josie, but it's also been put in place to say goodbye to the way that things on the train currently are. The secret is now out, and Melanie has made too many enemies, so the only way that things can go for her now are really quite bad. We learn that Layton waits for LJ in the hypnosis room, and he actually has a job for her. Clearly, Layton wants to use her ability to access the train, but also she will spread the truth about Melanie. I actually thought that she already knew it due to torturing Wilford informants, but obviously not. Now, she will likely go to her parents and tell them, and as they already wanted to overthrow Melanie for telling them no several times, this will be a bit of information that they can use to weaponize pretty much the entire train against her. One of her allies, Ruth, now hates her guts, and yet things aren't looking good for her. We have just 3 episodes left, and thus I don't think she's going to be in a position of power much longer. That was another brilliant episode, and shout out to Josie, yeah, rest in peace. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the 7th episode and what your theories are. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please drop a thumbs up, and make sure you check out our breakdown on the series so far if you've missed anything at all. Now if you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you, you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at Heavy Spoilers or click the Discord link in the description below. Every month we give away free movies to people who are subscribed to the channel, and this month you can win the MCU Infinity Saga box set, and all you have to do is comment on a video and make sure you subscribe with notifications on. The more videos you comment on, the more you have a chance of winning, so make sure you get involved. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of July, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part.